Have you ever had someone ask you, what was your childhood like? And you just go silent for a few seconds? Not because your childhood was terrible, and not because nothing happened, but because it feels like some chapters are missing between the ages of 7 and 17. Like the story got fast forwarded. And if you feel that way, there's a chance you're one of those people who grew up too soon. And here's something interesting to notice. If you're one of those people whose childhood ended early, you probably heard one sentence a lot when you were younger. You're so mature for your age. Teachers said it, relatives said it. Sometimes even your parents. If you heard that line over and over as a child, do one thing. Write just one word in the comments. Mature. I genuinely want to see how many people watching this video are the ones who grew up too soon. And no, I'm not talking about dramatic movie-style trauma. Sometimes it's much quieter than that. Like taking care of your younger siblings at the age of 9, becoming the mediator during your parents' fights, or becoming so emotionally aware so early that you learned how to read people's moods before you learned to read books. Psychology has a term for this, parentification. It means a child ends up taking on responsibilities that should actually belong to adults. From the outside, it looks impressive. People say, wow, what a mature kid. But the truth is, it isn't maturity. It's survival mode. Think about an 8-year-old child who suddenly becomes the most responsible person in the house. They didn't choose that role, but they had to take it. And in that moment, their brain makes a decision. I have to be strong. That's when a whole new operating system gets installed. That's why people who grew up too fast often develop some unusual superpowers. They can instantly understand other people's emotions, sense tension the moment they enter a room, figure out what someone needs before that person even says it, and become experts at solving problems. These don't seem like talents, but they're actually survival skills. But this is where the problem begins. These superpowers are not free. They come with a price tag, and that price is usually paid in adulthood. One of the most interesting things is that people who grew up too soon usually have no trouble handling life's big problems. They can handle crises, they can handle stress, they can handle responsibility. But the hardest things for them are often the simplest ones: asking for help, resting, being carefree, or just being silly and playful. Because deep down, a belief has already been installed in their mind. If I let go of control, everything will fall apart. And then, in adulthood, a very interesting pattern appears. These people often become the reliable one. At work, in their friend group, and in their family, everyone knows they'll handle it. But relationships become complicated. Why? Because vulnerability feels dangerous to them. As children, being vulnerable was never really an option. So even as adults, their brain refuses to lower its guard. And because of that, they often find themselves attracted to emotionally unavailable people. Why? Because it feels familiar. It feels like childhood, a place where they were always giving, but receiving was rare. There's another pattern too: control. Not toxic controlling behavior, but constantly managing the environment. Thinking through 10 or 15 different scenarios for every situation. Overthinking. Perfectionism. People say you're just anxious, but the reality is that your brain is doing exactly what it learned to do as a child: protect, predict, and prevent chaos. Then there's another hidden cost: constant exhaustion, the kind of tiredness that doesn't go away with sleep, because your nervous system has been running in overdrive since childhood. Your body was never properly taught how to rest. Back then, rest didn't feel safe. rest felt like problems could get worse. Even success develops a strange relationship with you. You achieve things, people are impressed, but inside, there's always a voice saying, "That's it? Do a little more. Prove yourself." Because your worth was never connected to your existence. It was connected to your usefulness. And the irony is that society actually rewards people like this. They're productive, independent, low maintenance, reliable. But almost nobody asks what price they had to pay to become that way. So, how does healing begin? The first step is a little uncomfortable. Grieve. Yes, grieve for the childhood you never got to have. Grieve for the version of yourself that could have been carefree, messy, needy, and still loved. The second step is realizing something important. Being needed is not the same as being valued. Your value is not determined by what you do. Your value comes from your existence. You are not a human doing. You are a human being. And perhaps the most important lesson of all is learning how to receive care. Because in that area, you're still a beginner. Whether you're 25, 35, or 45, you may have spent your whole life refusing to let anyone help carry the weight. But the truth is, that child who had to grow up too soon did an incredible job. They held everything together. They managed what they had to manage. They carried more than they should have. But now they don't have to control everything anymore. Now they can rest. Now they can let someone else take a turn. And maybe, for the first time, they can finally get the chance to be a little bit of a child again. If this video felt relatable, there's a good chance you're one of those people who grew up too soon. But the good news is this: you can still heal.